I know you gonna dig this.
Get funky with me.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in Herfville, New Jersey. It is rainy, it is damp, it's been like this for days. I love New Jersey. It's one of my favorite states to visit and film in. So much to see and do here. Unfortunately, the past few days I've been here, it's been like this. I don't know if you can see the rain falling on the camera or not, but it has been brutal, like non-stop. But like I always say, I don't melt and I don't mind. I'm here to visit the grave of one of the scariest men in my life that I ever encountered. Well, I never encountered him, but when I saw him, King Kong Bundy. He scared me as a little kid so much with his face and his body and what he did, demanding the 5 count, not the 3 count. When he would, pin somebody in a match, he used the 3 count, right? But he said, no, I want 5. So that he really defeated him. I'm going to talk about King Kong Bundy's career. If you don't know who he is, he was one of the most feared wrestlers in the WWF. He was in other federations, of course. I know him from the WWF. We all know him with the suits, the singlet with the thing, and huge, and the bald head, and the scary face. Man, I loved King Kong Bundy, but I was scared of him when I was a kid. I really was. Let's go over to his grave. I can see it from here. And pay our respects to King Kong Bundy. I was actually kind of just driving around looking at the cemetery, then I passed the grave and I saw something on the grave, and I said, oh, there it is right there. Final resting place of Christopher Pallies. He was born over in Woodbury. That's about 20 minutes away from here. Christopher Pallies is his real name. I think he's buried beside his mom. We're getting close. It's those 2 headstones right there. He was a heavyweight, of course, on his high school wrestling team. And then he started a professional wrestling career, went right into wrestling. He made his WWF debut in 1985. He defeated who? Mario Mancini. Kind of remember that name. Kind of. He was managed by Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South. In 9 seconds, he pinned S.D. Jones. Remember S.D. Jones? Some blast from the past, these names. 9 seconds at the first WrestleMania. Then at the second WrestleMania, and I remember, if I remember right, the second WrestleMania took place in 3 cities: New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. They each had like a bunch of matches, and then like the main event. And the main event in Los Angeles, and the main event of WrestleMania 2, was Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in a steel cage match. And King Kong Bundy did not win, because Hulk Hogan, it was the era of Hulkamania, so Hulk Hogan had to win. I remember at the King of the Ring tournament, he fought Randy Savage. Made it all the way up, and he fought Randy Savage, and he lost. He did beat Hulk Hogan in one of the Saturday night main events that they used to have on NBC, if you remember those, at night. They have them, I think it was once a month. They replaced Saturday Night Live with a wrestling event, and that was so exciting for me. Even though I'm a Saturday Night Live fan, I was really into that. So happy when I got to watch those. Stay up late to watch those. In November of '87, King Kong Bundy, there he is, right there. There's two of them. Oh boy. Defeated Hulk Hogan, but on the next episode of the series, he lost to Hulk Hogan. Now I remember he got traded, which is weird. I didn't know they did that back in the day, but he got traded from Jimmy Hart traded him to Bobby Heenan, who I've done a video on, in exchange for Adrian Adonis and the Missing Link. I've done a video on Adrian Adonis as well, not the Missing Link though, not yet. Yeah, he got traded. I don't know if they did that, but he did it at the time. Yeah, he went into semi-retirement in 1988. But then he rejoined the WWF as part of Ted DiBiase's stable. Remember Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man? Well, he had the $1 Million Corporation. He was at the Survivor Series. 1995, he was at the Royal Rumble. He made his return to WrestleMania 11, where he's defeated by The Undertaker. Now, I was out of wrestling by this point. I did not follow it in the 90s, really. It was more in the 80s when I was little. I always loved King Kong Bundy. He was a crowd favorite. And he feuded with Andre the Giant, too. That was another thing. And I loved Andre. So I hated King Kong Bundy. But it's a character. So, you know, I don't really. He was on Married Children a lot. He played Uncle Irwin, was the brother of Peggy Bundy. He was in Moving with Richard Pryor. I'm not trying to plug my channel, but just did a video on Richard Pryor recently as well. He's on a TV show Weird Science. I believe that was based on the movie. He tried a career in stand-up comedy. Did a few gigs. Now here's something about King Kong Bundy you don't know. He had about 10 cats when he died. Very fond of cats. In 2016, he joined a class action lawsuit. This part I'm going to read. He joined a class action lawsuit filed against WWE, which was the WWF, which alleged that wrestlers incurred long-term neurological injuries and that the company routinely failed to care for them and fraudulently misrepresented and concealed the nature and extent of those injuries. The case was dismissed by a judge in September of 2018. Apparently, King Kong Bundy, Christopher Palace, had a strained relationship with WWE over the years, and his involvement in the lawsuit likely prevented the company from inducting him into the Hall of Fame, which is kind of ridiculous. He passed away from complications of diabetes at his home in Glassboro, New Jersey, at the age of 63, young. And there he is. That would be his mother. It's very, very sweet. He's buried beside his mother. And here he is, Christopher Palace, November 7th, 1955 to March 4th, 2019. It's jingling into my pocket here, and here we go. That's for you, man. You can see Married with Children logo, WWF logo, picture of King Kong Bundy there. Oh my God, look at that. That's not, I don't think that's the original WWF doll. It looks different from the one I had. And those are ones, I guess, afterwards. I had the rubber ones. That one's made of rubber, I know, I can tell. But I don't remember him having that face. I do have all of my wrestling action figures, not dolls. I still have them all. And the cage, the ring with the cage around it. Thankfully, that's something I was able to salvage. It's in storage. Maybe one day I'll put them up again. I don't think so, but you know, I'm never gonna throw them away. Look at him. Look at that face. Gosh, he was scary. There he is with his mom. December 13th, 1929 to March 6th, 2002. Kong Bundy, Christopher Pallies. I'm looking at his grave right now. Strange. It's strange seeing. I do a lot of wrestlers' graves from the 80s. I've done a few from the 90s and the 2000s, but I tend to focus on the ones that I knew, that I knew about, that I watched. Not that I knew, personally, I wish, but that I knew. And King Kong Bundy was definitely one of them. And a lot of these videos I do about wrestlers, I was thinking about on the way down, because it was a long drive. And for me personally, and I think maybe for a lot of you viewers, it's a connection to our youth, maybe a connection to our family. Definitely for me, a connection to my father, because I did not like wrestling when I was really little. I'd get angry when he would have it on the TV. And I may have told this story before, but one time I went downstairs into the TV room and my father was watching wrestling. I was like, ugh. And I probably rolled my eyes, and I was probably like 7. I don't know. I was angry. But Andre the Giant, and I think it was Big John Studd and Ken Patera, they were cutting Andre the Giant's hair, and I started freaking out. I started losing it. Like, why are they cutting his hair? How can they do that? How can they do that? And I got hooked. I want to see what happened next week. And then my father was pretty happy because we had that connection. I played hockey since I was 5. I'm not making this video about me. I'm just trying to give it a little context. So my dad loved hockey. But other than that, I didn't really have so much in common with him, even as a little kid. Like, I didn't like a lot of sports. I only liked hockey. And he loved all sports. So then when wrestling came along, we had something in common, and he took me to every wrestling match in Toronto. And everything. I did that video on Jack Tunney where I got to meet Jack Tunney and all that. And it was all because of my father. So some of these videos I do, I know have to do with the memories of my father. And then my love of pop culture definitely comes from my dad, because he loved movies, music, TV. Loved it. And a joyful man, and a guy that everybody loved. My dad, I'm talking about. You couldn't not like him, and I'm proud to say that. He was generous and kind and good to everybody, and he was so good to me. So these videos for me they are a connection to something always. And I think in the back of my mind, these wrestling videos, when I do them, they're a connection to my dad. I love you and I miss you, Dad. King Kong Bundy means a lot to a lot of people. He's not just a scary wrestler from the 80s. He brings you back to your childhood. And you watch those matches again, it brings you back to a time when you feel safe, where you feel, free of constraints, adult constraints, and things that are going on. And that's what wrestling did for a lot of people. It just took you away. It's a soap opera. And not just, I said before, it's a soap opera for men. It's a soap opera for everyone, not just men. Women love wrestling too. But, in the 80s, it was teenage guys and, preteens, we loved wrestling so much. And King Kong Bundy, although you scared the hell out of me, I loved you. And thanks for the memories. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you all. Love you all. Rest in peace, Christopher. That's King Kong Bundy. Don't you forget it. Rest in peace. Peace out.